But I have two daughters. They're a year apart. Cindy lives down in Southern California. Linda lives in Seaside. She's married to Michael Pangrazio. Michael used to work for George Lucas and Spielberg, you know, in all those movies, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. He's famous in the film community and television for his art skills. Got 2 Emmys for his television work, and they have given me 2 grandchildren. Nathaniel is 12 and a half, Natalie's 11, and I've got pictures in case you want to. No. Anyway, one day, my daughter Linda calls me on the phone, says, "Hi, Dad." I said, "Hi, Linda." She said, "Just a moment." And it sounded like she put the phone down on the table, and I heard this clapping. And she picked up the phone and said, "Daddy, did you hear that?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "That's in case you haven't gotten any applause lately." So when I talk to Linda tomorrow, in fact, I'm going to go see the kids on Monday, I'll say, she doesn't need to clap for me on the phone, right? I got plenty of applause in Santa Clara. Anyway, let's go back to work. I never thought in my wildest imagination that I would ever be able to have something to say for 2 whole days. I mean, I'm amazed. I'm still amazed at what happens. In fact, I was so excited to get here today to hear what I have to say, right? It's just amazing. So let's talk now about the subject that exploded my life into change. I've never been the same, and that's personal development. It's a subject I came in contact with when I was 25 years old. I was raised in southwest Idaho. I still have the old family farm. My papa's gone. He was 93. Mama's gone. She was 79. So it looks like I'm going to be around a long time. Good genes. My papa never retired. When he died, his paycheck was waiting for me. That's pretty good, right? So I intend to be around a long, long time, looks like. But anyway, I was raised in southwest Idaho and still have the old family farm, you know, raising the normal crops in that part of the world. And my neighbor raises Arabian horses, and I furnish clover sometimes for him. And some years it's potatoes, and some years it's winter wheat, and some years it's something else. Also got vineyards. Got a new wine label, just finishing up. Rohn Bittner. Dr. Bittner is my partner. Rohn Bittner Vineyards. The Chardonnay of last year was absolutely incredible. But I, went to college 1 year. And halfway through my second year, I quit. Unfortunately, age 19. Should have stayed in school, right? But I thought, hey, I'm smart enough to get a job. How much smarter do you need to be? So with that kind of shallow thinking back then, I quit school and went to work. A little later got married, started a little family. And, sort of along in the sort of average American family, just young, getting started. And age 25, I'm behind on my obligations, creditors calling once in a while. And I'm embarrassed by being in that position. Very short on my promises to my family, not feeling good about myself. And then I had a chance to meet this extraordinary man by the name of Mr. Schoaf, Mr. Earl Schoaf. And a lot of you have already heard that part of my story. A friend of mine had gone to work for him, and he said, "You got to meet this man. He's rich, but he's easy to talk to. And he's got a remarkable philosophy of life and business." So I thought, well, I got to meet this guy. Had a chance to meet him. Long story short, he invited me to participate in his company, and I was with him for 5 years before he died. And he died at the early age of 49. But during that 5 years, I learned these revolutionary things. My parents laid a great foundation for me all those years, which has lasted me all of my life. But to open up business and to open up the world and open up opportunity that I could qualify for started with this man by the name of Mr. Schoaf, Mr. Earl Schoaf. And here's one of the early subjects he taught me called personal development. And I've illustrated it in so many ways, but one of the best is when you're teaching kids financial independence. When I teach kids financial independence, here's what I teach. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. But this will also serve as an introduction to personal development. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. The key is to study the marketplace. Tomorrow we may talk about what I taught in Moscow. Profits are better than wages. Capitalism at the grassroots is the vitality of the nation. So you study your marketplace. Now the key is to bring value to the marketplace. Now, up here put time. It takes time to bring value to the marketplace. Actually, there's two parts to the value. To bring a product or a service and to be valuable to the marketplace. To bring value and to be valuable. And it takes time, but we don't get paid for the time. We get paid for the value. So the key is to study the marketplace. What do they need? What could I bring? And what could I become? Management, leadership, whatever. So could I find something valuable to bring to the marketplace? And could I be valuable to the marketplace? That is the key. Study the marketplace. But then my mentor said the main thing is to study yourself. And then when I teach economics to kids, I teach America's ladder to climb. It starts down here at $5 an hour, and this ladder starts going up like this. Top income last year, there's a whole variety of stories. I'm sure one of the top was something like 26 million, something like that, for 1 year. So we started at $5 an hour, and it would go up to 26 million. Now, here's what we call this. A heck of a ladder. Not much better way to describe it, right? That's a heck of a ladder. So, here's what everybody has the opportunity to climb the ladder. Now, first, all you need is what? A chance. That's all everybody needs is a chance and a start, and now education as to how to take advantage of your chance, how to get started, and use your education to move up this ladder, speaking financially. Now, there's a lot of ways to grow, but speaking financially, this is the deal. So let's say you start at $5 an hour. And really, who cares where you start as long as they let you on the ladder. So you start at $5 an hour. Now the first key is, how do you increase the $5? And there's several philosophies to increasing the $5. Here's number one. Wait for them to raise the minimum wage. Right? Wouldn't that be one philosophy? Now, the last time it took how many years, right? Several years to raise the minimum wage, which is okay. I'm not saying it isn't okay. It's one way to get an increase in income is to wait for the minimum wage. Okay, here's the next philosophy. To wait for a raise, which is certainly legitimate. Now the question is, how often do the raises come? Every 6 months maybe, 1 year, they do what? A review. What if you miss the review? Well, you got to wait another 6 months or maybe a year. So that might take quite a while to go from 5, let's say, to 6. Here's another philosophy. Go on strike. Here's the philosophy we call by demand, to demand more. And if you don't give me more, I'll go on strike. I won't work. Which is one philosophy. To get more by demand. Now, here's the problem with demand. Make the note. Kids need to learn it. You can't get rich by demand. You might get a few more pennies, right? You might get an extra $1. You might get an extra benefit or something, but you can't get rich by demand. Here's why. Not that it isn't America, and not that it isn't that economically now we're doing incredibly well, but here's why you can't get rich by demand. It's the wrong philosophy. And here's what would be tragic all your working life. To live in the right country and have the wrong philosophy. So you can't get rich by demand. Then how could you get rich in America? It's very simple. Change your philosophy. And what would be the new philosophy? Answer. You get rich by performance, not by demand. Now, my mentor says, some people don't just make $5 an hour. They've moved up to 6. How easy would it be to get to 6? Probably pretty easy. If you work for McDonald's, they paid you $5 an hour, hauling out the trash. If you whistle while you haul out the trash, they'll pay you $6 an hour. Right? Here's an unusual person. They deserve $6 just because of their attitude. Wear the hat, say yay McDonald's. Okay? So for that, you get an extra, what? $1 an hour, because the company recognizes, hey, looks like this is going to be an oncoming person. So it's not that difficult to go from 5 to 6. But here's what's interesting. Some earn $50 an hour, 10 times as much. How could you multiply your income by 10? One, you probably couldn't do it waiting for a raise. Certainly you couldn't do it waiting for them to change the minimum wage. And you certainly couldn't do it by demand. Because usually when they make demands, they don't demand that you multiply my income by 10. People don't go on strike for multiplying their income by 10, usually, right? It's just a little increase. So, how could you go from 5 to 10? Interesting. But that's not the end of it. Can you think of somebody that makes $500 an hour? My Beverly Hills attorney, yes. I think. You can think of some, right, that make $500 an hour. Now, 500 multiplies by 10 again. Not just once from $5 to 50, but from 50 to 500 is multiplying by 10 again. Can you multiply by 10 and then multiply by 10? And the answer is yes. One, living in the right country is an advantage. But here's the greatest advantage, having the right philosophy. Now, $500 an hour is not the end of the story. We go right on up to these top incomes. Would a company pay someone $26 million for 1 year's work? And the answer is yes. They do it all the time, right? Not because this guy went on strike. But that's not how he gets the $26 million. So, a change and a shift in philosophy here starts to change everything. Now, my mentor said, you can climb this ladder, Mr. Rohn, as high as you wish to climb it. We're just talking economics now. There's a lot of other values to go for. But speaking economically, you can climb this ladder as high as you wish to climb it if you'll follow this philosophy. And here's what he said. You that have been around for a while have heard me say it. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I got the message, age 25. Then he added, if you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is noble. If you work hard on yourself, you could make a fortune, which is exciting. I had never heard that kind of philosophy before. Working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on your job, make a living, which is fine. Work hard on yourself, make a fortune, which is super fun. Or working hard on yourself starts to multiply your value to the marketplace. So we're talking about bringing value and being valuable to the marketplace. And this is the key. We don't get paid for the time. We get paid for the value. Then he put it in the form of a philosophy that I've been teaching now all these years, which is so important. And now let me give you that philosophy. He said, success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue, chase, run after. Success is something you develop, something you become. You attract success. Tomorrow we're going to talk leadership. Here's the theme of leadership. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. To attract skillful people, you must be skillful. To attract committed people, you must be committed. So the whole key to unlock all the treasures, whether it's economic treasures or spiritual treasures, financial, social, personal, every way you can possibly think of, is by your own personal development. And then he added one more, which is so important, and it's probably worth the price of the seminar. Here it is. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. The major question to ask on the job is not what am I getting here. The major question to ask on the job is what am I becoming here? Not what am I getting, what am I becoming? So it's very important what you become. Because what you become attracts. If you become cynical, you attract cynicism. What you become attracts. So this whole subject of personal development was so vitally important to me. It changed my life. I was a millionaire by age 31. And that was just the economic part of it. It took me 6 years from age 25 to age 31. It was unbelievable. So, right country, but a refinement of philosophy is what's important. So let's now talk about personal development. The first subject is called the seasons. An understanding of the seasons to illustrate the total aspect of life. One of the best ways to illustrate for your children or for anyone, life situations, is to use the illustration of the seasons. So let's go through it. Here they are, the seasons. Number 1, you cannot change the seasons until you get your own planet. Right? You can't change the seasons. They're set. All of this has been set in motion. But here's the next piece of information. You can change yourself. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Life and business is like the changing seasons. Frank Sinatra sang, life is like the seasons. So now let's quickly go through the seasons. This is a whole study in itself. But I can just give you a little outline here, some ideas, and you can take it from there and use it in whatever manner that would serve you, as well as to serve your own understanding of time, the passing of time. First, learn how to survive the winter. Speaking of life in its simplest aspect, the first key to learn in your life on the spinning planet is to learn how to survive. Now, there's all kinds of winters, right? The winter of the calendar, right? The winter of the actual season. But then there's financial winters and social winters, personal winters. But we understand those because we've all been through them. Barbra Streisand sings, it used to be so natural to talk about forever, but used to be's don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away. You don't sing me love songs. You don't say you need me. And you don't bring me flowers anymore. A winter song. But we know what those lyrics are about. You know, we've been through those experiences. The winters. Now, here's the key on the winters. Some are long and some are short. Some are easy and some are tough. But they always come right after harvest, right after fall, autumn. So we cannot rearrange the coming of the winters. But here's what we could do. Get stronger, wiser, and better so that we can survive better. And our life will be less eroded by learning to handle the next winter. The next winter of a divorce, the next winter of an illness, the next winter of a death in the family, the next winter of a loss financially, the next winter of a crisis of whatever kind, to be better equipped. So here's the key, to learn the seasons so that you can approach it all in a very intelligent way. For kids, we teach the ant philosophy. The ant philosophy. So for the kids that aren't here, take this home. For the kids that aren't here, the ant philosophy. And here's the little short list on the ant philosophy. Number 1, ants never quit. If an ant is headed somewhere and you stop him, he'll start looking for another way. How long will he look? Till he finds it or till he dies. One way or the other, he'll find it. Okay. So that's a good philosophy. Just never quit like an ant. Here's the next part of the ant philosophy. Ants think winter all summer. You got to think negative when it's positive. And not be disillusioned. That's why ants always seem to be in a hurry. Why are they in a hurry? Because they're thinking winter, 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 hurry, 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 get going, go, 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 go. So you must think negative when it's positive. You must think winter when it's summer. Here's some of the best advice. It comes from classic tradition. A great story says, Don't build your house on the sand in the summer. Why be given that advice? Because it's easy to get faked out in the summer. Right? Blue sky, fleecy clouds, nice weather, so you build your house on the sand. You say, no, you must not be faked out when it's nice. You must think storm in the summer and not get faked out. And if you think storm, now you'll look for a rock on which to build your house. Now you're going to be safe. So you can't think nice when it's nice. You've got to think storm when it's nice. And if you haven't been through one of those storms, you've got to find somebody and say, have you been through one of those storms? Scare me to death, if you will, please, so I will not be faked out here, and I will keep searching, right? Not to quickly build on the sand because it's nice, but to build on a rock because it's not always going to be like this. The seasons are going to come and change. And if you're not educated to that degree, now you suffer a great loss. So the ant thinks winter in the summer. Now here's the next philosophy. I'm sure the ant thinks summer in the winter. The time to think positive is when it's negative. Why? Because the negative won't last long. How long is the winter? Isn't that long? So the ant thinks summer in the winter. This won't last long. We'll soon be out of here. Just hang on. It's not going to take that long. How long is the night? It's only a few hours. Come on. There's never been a double night. Couldn't you make it a few more hours? And the story says, yes, the night just can't last for. Sometimes it seems like it's going to last forever. And when you have insomnia, right, it seems like the night will never pass. But I'm telling you, sure enough, it will pass. So learn to think day when it's night. And then you must learn to think night when it's day. An old prophet said, work while it's day. Work while it's day because the night's coming. Right? This was before Thomas Edison and the light. You've got to work when it's day because the night comes when you can't work. Of course, now we can work day and night, but back then you couldn't work when the night came. So you had to get it going, get it in before the night came. So this is a good idea now. Learn to think negative when it's positive. Learn to think storm when there is no storm. Learn to think winter in the summer. But then we must learn to think summer in the winter. We can make it through a few more hours, right? A few more days. It won't be that long. Hang in here. The spring will surely come. Okay. So the winters of life, learn to express those to other people, help them understand that as well as to try to understand it yourself. Now here's the next season, the spring. Spring is called opportunity. Not a guarantee. It's guaranteed the spring will come, but it's not a guarantee of a harvest. Here's the key. You must do something with the spring. Take advantage of the spring. Read every book you can get your hands on what to do with the springs of your life. Take advantage of the day, because the day follows the night. It's an opportunity now to turn things around. It's an opportunity to have a better one than the last one. It's an opportunity for a new beginning, a new spring, a new day, a new beginning. In business, we learn to create an artificial spring. Because in an industrialized society, right, it seems like, the seasons just don't mean that much. When you're a farmer out there, they mean everything. But when you're not, working on the line, whatever. So sometimes you got to create an artificial spring. We're going to take the next 90 days and we're really going to pour it on. Like if you're in sales, the next 90 days I'm going to make every contact possible. You just create an artificial spring. Next 30 days, next 90 days. Right? Bargain with your family. Say, look, I know we were going to do some things the next 90 days, but if you'll postpone those for me, I'll really pay back because I want to use this now as a springtime to go for it, go for it, go for it. So spring is the chance to take advantage of another opportunity.